Hi, everybody. Welcome again to Wingman Wisdom. I am the RV Wingman, Alan Warren. And today I want to start out by saying thank you. I did a video not long ago, and it was called, Where Are All the Men? It was about manliness and the shortage of what I think we need, real men, not the macho kind. But if you missed that video, I think I'll put a link to it either down below or it will be one of those panels at the end of this YouTube if you missed it. But it was called Where Are All the Men? And it was about manliness. The response has been unbelievable and most of it very, very positive. While the majority of subscribers to my channel, while the majority of people that watch the channel, whether they subscribe or not, are males, adult males 45 plus, surprisingly, there are a lot of females, a lot of women that watch this channel. At least I'm surprised about it. And they responded to the video. So I'm going to read one of those in a minute. Actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and start with that. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, I hope you'll consider doing it. Wingman Wisdom is about a whole lot more than just RVing and making good decisions as an RV buyer, as an RV owner. It's about life. It's about my perspective. Not that I am right. I can be right occasionally. I'm wrong often, but hopefully I'm wise enough and honest enough to readjust as I need to make the right decision. So I give you some things to think about here on the channel. That's all, just to think about, not necessarily agree with me. So if you like this kind of content, please subscribe. Going back to that video that I talked about manliness, Joy Garrett, and Joy, thank you. I know you've followed me since I was doing the radio show, and you were still following on social media and YouTube, and thank you. But Joy Garrett, listen to what she said. She said, there's a huge difference between a real man like you described and macho, Neanderthal, aggressive, you-know-whats. Unfortunately, the feminist movement has successfully emasculated all men and have made all men out to be said jerks. Personally, I feel real men are both strong, courageous, and have convictions, yet are also gentle and respectful. True men and women bring different strengths and weaknesses to a union, but that's what makes it work. It's not a dominance submission thing like the feminists want you to believe. It's mutual respect and submission. It's biblical. Believe me, I wish I could find such a man. At 64, well, it's unlikely now, but keep it up, Alan. Joy, I think that you represent a lot of women, maybe not a lot of younger women, but you represent a lot of women who understand the importance of the balance. You know, it takes the way the Bible says, and the Bible's not wrong. It takes men and women, it takes both of us to make that union. We both bring different strengths. We are not equal. Women are so much superior to men in certain things, and men are superior to women in certain things, but together they can be a force to be reckoned with. So thank you, Joy. I'm glad that you agreed with what I said. Chris White, I'm not sure, Chris, if you're a male or a female, but Chris took a different view. He says, so to summarize, things were better years ago under the guidance, leadership, and influence of real men like you for the past 30 years or more, and it's now worse. Sounds like you did a poor job of passing values down to subsequent generations, or your values and viewpoints are just not competitive in the marketplace of ideas. Please don't get ruffled. Chris, I want to tell you that you're right. You are right. We did a poor job of passing down the things that were taught to us when we were young. We did. You know why we did? Because we got lazy. My generation got lazy. The reason we got lazy is we trusted the wrong people. We trusted that our teachers and our politicians and people in the media wanted what is best for our country, not what's best to line their pockets, not what is best to advance their agenda, but truly what is best for our country. And what's best for our country, I believe, is having those values that we're missing today. We trusted our teachers and every kind of thing and now we look back and say, how do we do that? We got lazy. We weren't paying attention. Thank God, I think more people today are paying attention. I'm not sure if enough young people are paying attention to make much of a difference. But when you get old like I am, Chris White, I used to be smart too, and I think that most old people in my demographic, They say that they used to be smart when they knew everything. And I'm trying to be respectful. I really mean it. But life and experiences and failure and heartache, along with the good stuff, helps us change from being smart people to wise people. And that's kind of what this channel is all about. So while you and I see things differently, being strong and being able to not take instant gratification, being able to say, no, you're wrong. There are only two sexes, men and women. That's what it is. You can pretend and play games, but that's what it is. The number of people that do that, it's not an easy thing to sell because it's not in our culture, our music, our movies, our videos, our video games. They're confusing young people. I hope that young people will be given enough chances to fail, to have their hearts broken in a good way, to help make them wise, more wise than they are. They think they're smart. Again, I used to think I was smart when I grew up. And then here's my friend Lane Delker. Lane, thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you for your thoughtful comments. And what Lane said, I think represents most of the men that saw this video. It says, my dad taught me how to be a man. I ended up with 3 daughters. I told them how a real man should act. Not expect anything less, but it is falling apart everywhere. I'm constantly on my grandsons on how to act like a man. But there's too much static from this world, deliberately I might add, that undercuts most of my advice. I agree, Lane. It's all around us, and it just makes us feel so frustrated and marginalized because it is a tsunami, a fire hose of the wrong message that young people, especially kids, are consuming. And they're forced to consume it. No, they're not. Yes, they are. They are addicted to these things. It's an addiction. Most of us, me too, I'm addicted to having technology by me. But young kids don't even know it. It feels good. Oh, that's normal? Okay, well, maybe I think I'm going to try that for a while, instead of sticking with the values. Lane continues. He says, but I stay on them. Something needs to stick. A real man has courage to do what's right every time. We don't do what's right every time. I know you didn't mean it that we all do things right every time, but we have the courage enough to at least try. And then the honesty enough that when we screw up, that we go, we screwed up. And we don't rub our noses so much in it, beat ourselves up that we don't learn from it. We just learn from it. We move forward. Not when it's convenient. A real man works hard every day to provide for his family. He loves his wife, holds her in high regard and esteem, and he corrects the kids when they think that they are not the children. This entire sissifying of our society is sickening, and I'm disgusted by all of it. I could go on and on, but now I need a moment. No, it's not just you, Alan. There's a lot of us on here that think the same way you do. And that, again, was from my friend Lane Delker. That's the general feedback on the video that I did, and I like that. I like hearing from women. I like hearing from people like Lane, and I like hearing from people like Chris White who think that we missed the mark. And again, I'm admitting, yes, I think our generation has missed the mark, and hopefully we're doing our best in our fourth quarter of our lives to make up for it by getting something inside the minds and hearts and souls of our children and grandchildren and their friends, at least a few people. I want to recommend a book that I found recently. In fact, after that video that I keep talking about, somebody sent me an email and said, you need to read this book, and it's unbelievable. It's called Boy Crisis, or The Boy Crisis, by Dr. Warren Farrell. And at first glance, I said, I'm not going to like this book. You know, it's too out there. It's the most profound expose on boys and girls, but primarily boys, that I have ever read. It's unbelievable. And it's painful at the same time. So it's good and it's bad. It's bad because as I read The Boy Crisis, I'm like, oh my God, that was me. Look how much I've screwed up. That's why we had problems. I should have raised my daughter differently. That's why she's weak in that area. I should have listened to my wife and let her do the teaching on that. The Boy Crisis. It's recommended reading from the Wingman, and if you like it, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know. But again, the link to that video on manliness is going to be in the panel. So when I say bye-bye, it'll be one of those things that pops up at the end, and click on it if you didn't catch it. I want to ask you something. Do you still open doors for ladies? Do you do that? Do you stand up when a lady gets out of her chair? When your wife gets up out of her chair? Do you help your wife sit down? Do you help somebody? Do you go out of your way to be a kind, thoughtful person? Kind of like an old Boy Scout. Remember Boy Scouts growing up? That's what we did. We helped people. Do you still do that? And ladies, do you say thank you? Seriously. A lot of men, I do it still, and I'll open the door for somebody, go to the gas station, open the door, some woman walks through, and just like nothing. Either didn't know that I was there, or it was expected of me, and I don't expect to get a medal or, oh, thank you, sir. How about a kind acknowledgement? I think that when women acknowledge men for their behavior, for acting like a man, respectful, gentle, polite, it makes them want to do it more. When you ignore them and don't acknowledge their thoughtful gesture, what is that going to do? It's going to make them go, well, why am I even doing this? Just some things to think about. Again, this is a channel about life more than it is a channel about RVing. I do a whole lot of consulting with RV dealers, people in the RV industry, and people outside of the RV industry, trying to give them a different perspective of perhaps how to look at business. They do business differently than most people. The people that I work with do. Links to all of them are down below. If you click the description, you'll see how to get a hold of each and every one of them. None of them are perfect, like I am. Not. But they try to be perfect. They try to acknowledge when they go wrong, and they will do everything they can to earn your business and make things right. So let me know what you think. Do you still open doors for the ladies? Ladies, do you say thank you when somebody is kind, when a gentleman or a young man is kind and thoughtful and opens the door for you? Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for being a part of Wingman Wisdom. I can't tell you how much your comments and your phone call, your voicemails, your emails, all that means to me. And yes, I really do listen to every voicemail, and I try to respond to as many as possible, and I even read some emails from time to time like I'm doing today. I'm Alan Warren, the RV Wingman. Be safe, have fun, play nice, and don't leave your good manners at home.